Sun is shining. It's 70 degrees outside in Bloomington. Matt Sosler here for this basketball exclusive edition of Titan Table Talk. Every other team is across the United States on their spring break trips. Both basketball teams are still in Bloomington. Matt Sosler with Coach Rose, and that must be a good thing knowing that you're still here.
Oh, it's a great thing. And yeah, even though it's beautiful outside, it's still basketball season, which is always the goal.
Going off of your exciting weekend up in Chicago, we'll talk about the first round before diving into the excitement of Saturday night. You get Bethany Lutheran, a team around the 500 mark. What was your process going into that game, being sure that it's the NCAA tournament? There are 64 teams, no game is a rollover.
Well, we have a lot of respect for Bethany. This is the third straight NCAA tournament appearance. They had some injuries and things happen at the beginning of the season, and they turned it on. They'd won 11 of their last 14 games. They were very dangerous, especially on the offensive side, because they shoot the three ball so well. And so, the teams that get upset are the ones that make assumptions about or don't respect their opponents. We really respected them. And, we went in knowing we had to play a good basketball game. And I will say this about our group. They've been focused all year, but there's a whole nother level of focus and determination right now.
Got 6 seniors playing their last few basketball games in the month of March, so definitely an additional gear. In that game, though, you were able to play your entire allotment of 15. How important was that?
Well, that was great. One of the advantages I felt like we had coming in was I think this past weekend was the 5th weekend, Friday, Saturday game. We had 3 of them in the regular season, the conference tournament, and now this first round. So we're accustomed to back-to-back games. I think our depth has been a huge difference and advantage for us all year, and certainly having the ability to utilize our bench and then play everybody in the first round, certainly you felt fresh coming into Saturday.
Because you also look at the future. You look at 2022 when Nick Roper, Hakeem Williams, Shane Miller had minutes here and there in the NCAA tournament, and now they're your main pieces heading into this year, and it benefits them.
Oh, yeah. It benefits the whole program. And one thing that I'm very pleased with and proud of with our program is just the chemistry, culture, how our guys treat each other. And so everybody roots for each other. Everybody, and that's one of the most challenging things as athletics is you go into practice and you beat the heck out of each other and you compete against each other. But then when you go up against somebody else, now it's the Titans versus whoever else. And our guys have been incredibly mature and done a great job with that all year.
So you take care of Bethany Lutheran handily 101-67. Saturday night, a much different story. St. John's in a dogfight against the University of Chicago on Friday, pulling that game out in the last minute. Same story against Illinois Wesleyan on Saturday.
Well, it was a crazy pod. I mean, to put the 4 of us together, you had 3 top 10 ranked teams in the country in the first weekend pod. That we knew we had our challenge ahead of us. I thought it was good to see the ball go in a bunch on Friday night, built confidence for Saturday. It was played differently. It was an incredibly physical game from the tip. I do appreciate the fact, though, I thought it was consistent. I thought the officials made a decision. We're going to let it be a physical game, but I thought it was physical both ways. And our guys really responded. And I think there's a lot of respect between the two programs. I know Coach McKenzie from St. John's, and he does a tremendous job. And I thought both teams competed at a high level, played really physical basketball, but also played basketball. And both teams were focused, and you could tell St. John's had 6 or 7 seniors on their team. Certainly, as you mentioned, we have 6 seniors on our team. Everyone kind of playing for their season, and it was really a fun game to be a part of.
With your season on the line, 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Nick Roper picks up his 4th, forced to the bench. You go on one of your best offensive spurts, all culminating in a junior making the biggest play of his career, Karlo Colak, off of a freshman missed shot. So you got a big senior class, but talk about Karlo's play and Josh's play facilitating that last sequence.
Yeah, I will give a shout out to our seniors. Our seniors didn't miss a free throw. We were 16 for 19 from the free throw line, which was a huge factor in coming out. But certainly our young guys also played a factor. And that goes back to our depth. Nick Roper's been a stud for us all year. He's played great. And certainly when you have a player of that caliber foul out, most teams start wondering, can we win this basketball game? I thought our guys, because of the confidence they have, because of the successes they've had, knew, hey, we all need to step up. Harrison, our fives, Harrison Williamson and Marco Anderson, are you kidding? If you looked at their numbers. So, I've always felt this, when you have a group that's playing for each other. Nick was out, so the guys coming in, we're playing, so that wasn't Nick's last time in a Titan jersey. You've got something special. And I really feel like that was kind of the response. That Rope's out, we need other guys to step up and play. This can't be Nick's last game as a Titan. And so when you have that kind of dynamic, you have something special. And in going back to that last shot, it was a tough call because you had, I think, 35 seconds left in the game. There was a 4 or 5 second shot differential. And so we decided we want to get a shot with no more than 2 seconds or less on the clock, because by the time the ball gets to the rim and there's a rebound, there's 2 or less seconds. We wanted to make sure we got the last shot of the game. And I thought the best way to do that was to send Josh. I thought if you ran a play that had several passes, you present the opportunity to turn the ball over and give them more shot clock. So we went vanilla on the movement. And we have a lot of confidence in Josh Fridman and a lot of confidence in everything. So we sent Josh on we called it a go screen, and he turned the corner and got a pretty good look. And then if Dr. Spear, Bob Spear, he loves the offensive rebound. So if he's listening, hats off to our guys. Because the reality is, if Marco would have missed that one, if you watch the film, Harrison Williamson had his man sealed on the weak side. We might have gotten another tip at the basket. So great job by Karlo. He went flying to the basket, made a great effort play to get the rebound, and showed great composure in gathering and going up and getting a good look for the winning shot.
Going back to your last thought, you mentioned not having it be the last time that Nick Roper and the rest of your seniors are in a Titan jersey. Rope fouls out on the prior sequence. Timeout called. What was the message to your team with 35 seconds on the clock?
Well, it was, we're going to find a way to win this basketball game, but we want to make sure that we get the last shot here. We did not, it was one of those games, the team that got the ball last had a huge advantage. We were both having a hard time stopping each other. They run they're very talented, very skilled, and run a tough dribble drive motion offense to guard. I didn't want to give them a chance, and they go downhill where they were going to attack the basket. I didn't want to put ourselves in a position to potentially foul and then win the game on free throw. So we wanted to get the last shot. That was priority number one. And then let's get a good shot and then go to the board. So that, those moments, it's one of the things I love. There's a lot of things I love about my job, but those timeouts are special. That when you're sitting there and you got 10 eyeballs on you and everyone in there, and the juices are flowing. Our guys were really locked in. I felt very confident we were going to execute what was drawn up. Now, does it always work? It doesn't always work, but I felt like our guys were locked in. We're going to do what they needed to do to give ourselves a chance.
We'll speak with Karlo Colak in just a moment. For now, Matt Sosler alongside Titan men's basketball coach Ron Rose. Talk about Karlo and his performance from this past weekend, not only making the biggest shot of the weekend, but having two of his best games of his career.
He's just, he had a heck of a weekend. Goodness gracious. He was terrific. But I think you've seen it since Christmas time, his confidence growing, and him figuring out, big part is always, figure out what it's going to take and how I need to play to be a really good player at the next level. And he's figured it out. And you could see he's had this momentum growing throughout the second half of the season and has resulted in an unbelievable weekend. And we needed that from him. And what a luxury to have such a dynamic offensive player coming off the bench. But also, he's 6'5" and athletic. He can guard. He can really guard, and I thought at the beginning of January that was his biggest stride. It's easy to see the points he's put up and that, the game-winning shot. But what really impressed me and what I really thought he was turning the corner was on the defensive end and rebounding. He's a tremendous rebounding guard because of his size. So once I think he worried less about offense and whether the shot went in and how many points he scored, everything else kind of fell into place for him.
20 points in the first round against Bethany Lutheran, 16 in the second round against St. John's, including the game winner. You now shift your focus to this weekend, staying on the road, going up to Wisconsin Lacrosse, a team you faced in the NCAA tournament 2 years ago in the round of 32. A lot of turnover for the Eagles up north. What are your initial thoughts on that matchup?
Well, they're really good. And at this stage, a Sweet 16 game, you would expect it. They play in the tough WIAC. So they've played great competition. It's a very physical league. They're a very physical team. We play in the CCIW, a very physical league. We're a very physical team. It's going to be a hard-fought contest. We know that. But our guys, I think are going to be ready for that task. As much as I hated to face St. John's in the second round, how competitive it was, and I don't think there was a better second round game in the tournament. I think it does prepare you. We faced that physicality. We faced a close game. It will prepare us for what's coming up this coming weekend.
And hopefully a lot of fan support up in middle Wisconsin. You had that at the Ratner Center on the south side. What does that mean to this program, having that support in a neutral game?
Well, it's incredible. And, what's incredible is our women are having such a fan and super happy for Coach Smith, Coach Ayersman, the women's basketball team, hosting here and playing so well, moving on. I think the men and women's team, we have been close, our programs for the entire time I've been here, but super happy for them and to have the crowd they received here, and then also for us to have that. So you're splitting your fan base, yeah, and to have it come out in Chicago really meant a lot to our guys and our program, and certainly that first round is as competitive as it was. Being at University of Chicago with so many alumni in the Chicagoland area helped, and so. Big thank you to everyone who came out and supported the team. That made a difference. St. John's was really impressive. They traveled really well also, and it made for a terrific environment and NCAA tournament game.
You mentioned the success of the women's team. The last time that Titan basketball was in this position was 2012, where men's team went to the Final Four, women's team won the national championship. What's it mean to have both programs playing at this level again?
Well, it's been exciting all year. I think coming in, the expectations of both programs was very high, and it's been fun following them closely. We know all the girls on the team. My Coach Smith knows all our guys, and so we really root for each other hard. I mean, one of the first texts I send is a congrats to her, and she sends it to me, and there's just a lot of pride in that. And I know how hard they work. And so we're going to be rooting like crazy from Wisconsin for them here at the Shirk Center, and I know it'll be reciprocated.
Hopefully a few more congratulations texts from both sides this upcoming weekend. Coach Rose, before I let you go, your goals for the weekend to ensure that you take a trip to Fort Wayne.
Well, this group has had high expectations and responded all year, has had high goals from the beginning of the year. And bottom line is you just have to go prepare. We're going to try to prepare the same way and play our best game. Pressure's off. There's no pressure here. This is gravy, man. This is fun. And so I just want to go up and I was excited when we got that big win. I get to coach this team another week at least. And so we're going to do everything we can to extend this season to the end. But very, very looking forward to this opportunity.
Titans head up to Wisconsin-Lacrosse to take on the Eagles this Friday. Tip-off for Illinois Wesleyan against UW-Lacrosse is scheduled for 7 o'clock Central Time. Matt Sosler alongside Titan head coach Ron Rose. Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
The hero from the weekend, Karlo Colak and Nathan Boldt when we come back on Titan Table Talk.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Continuing on with this March basketball edition of Titan Table Talk, we just heard from head coach Ron Rose, and we now bring in two of his players, including the hero with the game winner from Saturday, Karlo Colak, and a guy who's just been playing some of his best basketball in the postseason, Nathan Boldt. Guys, how you doing?
Good, excited to be here.
Yep, same.
Karlo, we'll start with you. 35 seconds on the clock. Coach Rose calls a timeout after 2 free throws, and then you make the play of your career with a buzzer beater. Walk me through that.
Yeah, well, he called the play. It was for, I think, Josh was coming off like a screen, and he could have shot it or, passed it to whoever. We had trust in any of our guys to make that play. And while I already said that, but while I was on the sideline waiting for the clock to run down, Coach Rose came up to me from the bench, and he was like, I have a feeling you're going to make this. And, Josh went for the pull-up. It was kind of a harder shot, and I was supposed to be get back, but I went for the rebound, and it bounced off the back rim. I went up and grabbed it, and I knew we still had 4 seconds on the clock, and so, just got through the traffic, threw it up, and it looked good and went in. So,
And this all coming off of a dominant win in the first round. Neither of you had NCAA tournament experience prior to this year. How important was it to have that game to sort of calm the nerves, get your jitters out of the way?
This was something that we've been looking forward to the whole season, a goal of ours. And I think our leadership, like the seniors especially, just told us to, enjoy the moment, but just, play hard, do what we got to do to win. And I think they helped a lot just with their leadership.
Yeah, Bethany Lutheran was also a really good team. I was nervous to play, but also really excited, and just to get that first win the way that we did, I think it just instilled confidence in us going forward against St. John's, and so, we're still dancing, and it's really exciting.
And Nathan, we just talked with Coach Rose. You didn't play at Augustana, and that was a game that did not go your guys' way. But since then, after that, you've been playing some of your best basketball. You've been Johnny on the spot whenever needed. Take me through your last 2 weeks of basketball and how it's helped this team get to this point into the Sweet 16.
I had a talk with Coach Rose, and he just said, he apologized for me not playing. He just said, just to keep doing what you're doing. You've been playing well, and just to make winning plays, just do what the team needs me to do. Whether it's play defense, grab rebounds, do what I need to do. So I just go in every game with the mindset of just doing my role and just help the team any way I can.
Then that battle against St. John's, both of you playing critical roles in a game that's 75-73 with the season on the line. It was physical, 2 top 10 teams going at it way too early in the tournament. How important was it having that type of game, considering that this weekend in Wisconsin you could have a similar story?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Coach before this. St. John's, I think, is a Final Four caliber team, and so are we. And so having that game in the round of 32, being that close, that intense, I think it's actually a great preparation for what's going to come, in the Sweet 16, and hopefully when we keep winning. And so just being able to come out of that, victorious and understand what it's going to take to win, I think it's a great learning experience, and I think it's going to be a very big step towards winning the next weekend.
Yeah, I would have to agree. They're a great team. They had a bunch of great players. I thought it was a good test for us. We showed great resilience. It was a really close game. We're going to see that as we go further on. So it's just a great test for us.
Moving on to the second weekend, the competition gets harder. There's only 16 teams left playing basketball. You two haven't been to the second weekend. Senior class on this team has, along with a lot of the coaches. What have been some of the messages over the last 48 hours about maybe some of the differences or perhaps some of the similarities between the two?
Just keeping that edge, honestly. One of the messages that we had is, you can't be satisfied with this win. It's cool, the round of 32, and you keep going, but we're not done. And so I think it's just important to understand that it's going to get harder. St. John's was a very good team, but we may see even better teams. And so having to understand that and being able to be prepared for that is very important. And so I think that's one of the key messages that we're going to take.
Yeah, I think one, Coach Rose has mentioned a lot, is being stubborn, just like locking in and taking everything really serious. And obviously, just enjoying the moment because it goes by fast. So really just staying locked in, but also enjoying the moment and just being stubborn and doing what we do.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan men's basketball juniors Karlo Colak and Nathan Boldt moving on to the second weekend up at Wisconsin-Lacrosse. It's the first meeting at Lacrosse. The Titans faced them in the round of 32 in 2022 at the Shirk. It was a 65-56 win. So you're going back against a program similar to the first weekend. You're playing teams that you don't have a ton of direct matchups with. How do you approach that from a scout?
I think, we have a great coaching staff who watch a lot of film. And I think, their scouting reports and our preparation, our walkthroughs leading up to the game, our practices, everybody's very locked in. I think they have great insights and do a lot of research on their team, which helps us a lot.
The message that we preach a lot is IW versus IWU, which basically means that, only we can really beat ourselves. So I think the message here is that, as long as we play our game and stay true to what we do and have been doing all season, I think we can win any game.
Titan basketball is off to its best year between the men and the women since 2012. You guys going on the road for the first weekend, having a ton of fan support. The women here at Shirk having some of their best crowds of the year. What does it mean to have Titan basketball at some of its best points in nearly a decade?
I mean, just, the fan base and, the parents and everybody, it's so great to see. And it honestly does give you so much more energy when you know there's so many people behind you and rooting for you. And so, I'm just really honored and I'm really proud that I'm playing for this program and to have so much support. And I think it's been a big part of our success. And, as much as it is our win, it's their win as well, and we're all in this together.
Yeah, I have to agree. This team, the brotherhood that we all share, it's just, I'm grateful that I get to do this experience, with this group of guys. And I think our fan base has been amazing, and just seeing, how we all travel, how the crowd travels through these away games, it's just something, it's special.
You got Wisconsin-Lacrosse on Friday, and then potentially a trip to the Elite Eight, and then also on the other side of that, a possible trip to Fort Wayne for the Final Four. What are some of your goals for this weekend from a micro standpoint to try to get to Indiana?
I think it's just important to take it game by game. Final Four in Fort Wayne is a big goal, and it's one that we want to reach. But you can't reach it if you're looking forward. You still have Sweet 16, and then you also have Elite 8. And there's so many good teams. Lacrosse, and then potentially WashU or what's the other one? Another Wisconsin team. But they're all really, really good teams. And so I think it's just important to take it game by game and just enjoy the moment while we're in it.
Yeah, I have to agree. They say, just take it one game at a time. However many games we played, just look forward to the next game. And then, I know how much it means to these seniors to be in this position and have the chance to go to the Final Four. So, just playing, cherishing every moment. That's what we do. WashU
and Wisconsin Lutheran in the neutral site game earlier, and then the Titans will take on Wisconsin-Lacrosse at 7 o'clock from Lacrosse, Wisconsin. Matt Sosler alongside juniors Nathan Boldt and Karlo Colak. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank
you so much for having us.
The men get on the bus. The women, yet again, stay right here in Bloomington. Mallory Powers, fresh off her 1,000th point, and guard Sawyer White when we come back on Titan Table Talk.
When competition for the best jobs is fierce, how do you set yourself apart? Experience? An education? Yes, but not just any education. At Illinois Wesleyan, we prepare graduates who break through the noise, who run the boardroom, the classroom, the lab, the stage. The best college for jobs in Illinois is right in your own backyard. Reach further, dream bigger, and break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
third interview of this Titan Table Talk basketball exclusive edition on spring break. Matt Sosler alongside senior Mallory Powers, junior Sawyer White of the Titan women's basketball team following their 2-0 weekend, advancing to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Tournament. Mallory, I'll start with you. Picking up your 1,000th point on how fitting a three-point shot, wing three, like clockwork. How's it feel to be a part of the Comma Club?
Yeah, I mean, it feels awesome, but I give all credit to my teammates and my coaches. And, missing my sophomore year was hard, but, I just continued to keep working. And, my teammates set me up for that, and I give all credit to them. I mean, obviously it feels good to see the hard work pay off, but really exciting.
First weekend thoughts in general against Center. You lead 27-6 after the first. Highest minute total for anybody was 22. How important was it to have that aspect shine through to get some rest, especially on the front end of a back-to-back?
Yeah, we knew that we were watching the Trine and Transylvania game beforehand, and they're really two very competitive teams, so they were going at it pretty hard. So we knew with the game on Friday, obviously we wanted to play hard and win, but that rest time for the 7 of us was really, really essential. And I think that was definitely one of the advantages that we had on Saturday was we were pretty well rested compared to Trine. But it obviously was very, very important. And it was great to see some of our bench go in as well. And pretty much everybody scored on Saturday. So it was a really great weekend for us.
Yeah, I mean, like Sawyer said, it was a very essential part, but I thought that we did what we needed to do after the game. We all refueled, we stretched, and we did the little things, and then you wake up the next morning and you do a little shoot around, get going a little bit. But I definitely thought that we prepared really well for them.
Eventually wound up as a 95-57 win over Center in the round of 64. Talk about accomplishing small goals with this team. We'll dive into Trine in just a moment, but first goal, win conference, win it outright, win the tournament, and then do something that neither of you have done before, which is make it to the Sweet 16. How has that process paid off?
Yeah, so I mean, ever since last year, we can say from losing at Wartburg, we had that chip on our shoulder, and we really wanted to go past that. And obviously, for me and the other seniors, our freshman year, we lost in the round of 32 as well. And, that was one of our small goals as seniors is to get to the Sweet 16. And, but, I really think that the small goals are getting closer and closer to our bigger goal. And, every single, weekend, we're always checking off one small goal. We won the outright, then we won it, and then we got to host, and then we got out of the 64 and 32. And, now we get to host again. So that was another big goal for us.
Yeah, we worked a little bit with Dr. Keller, Lindsay Keller, in the beginning of the season, working to put together a list of goals, both personal and then team goals, as well as just our season goals. And, you pull up the worksheet that we did all together, and we're slowly just taking them off on the side. So it's been pretty awesome feeling to know that we are accomplishing those goals, especially as a team. Obviously we have some personal accolades and things like that we've both gotten, but above all, just our team checking off those boxes, what really matters to us. And so far, we've done a pretty great job.
Have about 10 of those personal accolades in this room alone out of the 40 or 50 that have or could be accomplished over the remaining course of this season. Matt Sosler alongside Titan women's basketball players Sawyer White and Mallory Powers. Following their first weekend sweep over Center and Trine, they're heading to the Sweet 16. Talk about that Trine game. The thing that stuck out to me, and both of you are perfect guests for this, defense and rebounds.
Yep.
Mallory on the glass. I've never seen somebody go up with two hands and just rip it down, especially against two all-conference players and Sydney Wagner, Aaron Sherwood. How important was that aspect you had to fight for those rebounds?
Yeah, and I mean, I love doing whatever it takes to win us games. One of our things we always talk about before games, and Coach Kate Bowman's favorite thing to say to us before games is we got to win that rebound war. And, when you get a rebound, it's a fast outlet, and then there's our transition offense, And the guards do a great job when I get the rebound. They're always running. I'm always looking for them right away. But, it's been great. I mean, I love rebounding, but I like this one, getting our steals a little better.
No, I was just going to say, I think we have done an excellent job on the boards. I know, obviously, Lauren, Mao, Katie, Laura, when she gets in there, Sarah had 10 rebounds?
10 rebounds on Friday.
10 rebounds on Friday. We're really, really putting an emphasis on rebounding because it is such an essential part of our game where we get that rebound and we go. We don't want half-court game. We want to just run. And that's how we get our stuff set up, our R&J set up, all of that. So really essential that we have big rebounders like Mal and the rest of our team.
We'll dive into the steals in just a moment. At the end of the first quarter, like you mentioned, Sawyer, it was a half-court game, and as a result, Trine led by 3, an 11-0 run over the last 95 seconds of that first quarter. Second, third, and fourth quarter, a much different story. What was the vibe in that huddle after the first 10?
I would definitely say picking up the pace of our game. They were getting too much of their half-court looks and half-court sets, and I really thought that our R&J started to pick up, and Sawyer was getting steals. We were rebounding. We were forcing them to take rush shots, and I thought our offense really started to click, and we started to pick apart how they were guarding us, and I thought that was a really good job by us and our coaching staff to make adjustments early on. And, once we had a little lead, I thought we just kept building it, and they never really got back into that run they had.
A lot of it was forcing them out of their element. Sawyer, you a major piece of that. You're tasked with guarding Sydney Wagner, who put up 27 points against Transylvania in the overtime contest. You got 24 hours to solely focus on her as your assignment. She's an all-conference player, in line to be an All-American. What was that scout like for you?
Coach B and Coach Kate have done an excellent job putting together the scouts for the season, and they had to put together 3 different scouts in the span of a week because we didn't know who we were playing until Monday. So definitely without that scout, I would have been more in the dark, I guess, when it came to guarding Sydney Wagner. But with that scout, we got back from the game. We pulled the scout up on TV. We watched all the players, the plays, things like that. So I was really just locked in. I knew that was my job. I didn't care if I didn't score too many points. I'll leave that up to the other players. But that was my assignment, and I really took pride in stopping her. And she's a good player. She did score. She had points. She had looks, things like that. She's a great player, hard to defend. But I really just wanted to help our team in any way I could. So if that was my role, then that was my role.
You could say even though you didn't find the bottom of the net, you certainly kept her off the board.
Yeah.
She's good for around 16 points per game. You held her well below her average on the season. Well, I ended up winning that game against Trine 82-50. Again, complete control in the second, third, and fourth quarter. Mainly the opening 3 minutes of the second half, leading by 9. A chance for a Trine team that has been to the second weekend numerous times to make a run, make it a game. That was not the case. 6 of 7 from three-point land, limiting Trine to near scoreless for that period. How important was that coming out of the locker room?
Yeah, I thought in the locker room we were all locked in on what Coach was talking to us and how we were going to adjust and get out that early run. But I thought that if we could get a little run in the beginning of the first third quarter, that we could really, pull this game out. And, I thought we came out. We scored. We got Lauren Huber a basket in the first possession, and then I think we came down and they either missed a shot or we got a steal. And, I thought it was like one basket, another, and after another. Then it was, oh, wow, we're up 15 to 17 points, But I really liked our ability to keep the lead and keep playing and keep scoring. I mean, it went from 17 to 30, and I swear, a span of a minute. But no, it was a great team effort. Thought our team defense was exceptional in the second half, and I'm really just proud of this team. So,
yeah, out of halftime, we definitely wanted to come out with a lot of energy. I think that's one of the things that we've really worked on this past season, and we're excelling in it now, running out the locker room. Even we do layup lines to start. That's more energetic than it was before. So it's the little things like that that really get us going. And then we all huddle up to start, and then it's just the 5 of us that huddle, and that's when we got to say our piece, and then it's go time. So we've been doing a really great job, and our bench has been exceptional as well, helping to keep the game energized, yelling out different things scout-wise as well. So it's really just been a total team effort for that extra we need out of halftime.
You're one of 16 teams left playing basketball in the Division III tournament this year. You got Oshkosh on Friday, a team that the last time Illinois Wesleyan played them, neither of you were born yet. So it's been quite some time since the Titans have done battle. They're an unfamiliar foe. You do have some common opponents, one being Wisconsin Whitewater. What's your approach heading in against Oshkosh on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, we have looked at them a little bit. I think individually nothing quite team-based yet, but I think that our coaches, like Sawyer said earlier, do an exceptional scout on them, and I think we're all going to really lock in this week. And, it's awesome that we get to host again, but I think our approach is we just want to be one of those teams still playing on Saturday and get to Salem. But, I'm really excited for this to play them. So.
Yeah, and I think the mindset also is Friday is our last guaranteed game. And we're just kind of going at that one game at a time, obviously. If we win on Friday, Saturday's our last guaranteed game. So I think we all definitely have that mindset, as well as, like Mal was saying, a lot of us, a majority of us, if not the whole team, take a look at different games before we even prep and do scout. So we've already looked at a few different games that they've played already, especially with our common opponents. Not so much taking notes yet, but kind of just watching the play style, things like that. And then come tomorrow, we're going to be locked in and ready to go.
This is uncharted territory for both of you. You've been to the round of 32 now 3 times. For you, Mel, twice for Sawyer. You're now into the second weekend in an area that no one on this team has been in outside of the coaching staff. What has been the message over the last 48 hours to discuss the similarities and or differences of the 2 weekends?
I would say that, like Sawyer said, we're kind of just taking it as this is our last guaranteed game. And, I think I've heard Kate say it a bunch of times that, we only get this game left. And, I think us and everybody knows how well we've been prepped for all these games. And, we've been working all season for this moment. And, we're just taking it weekend by weekend. And hopefully we're still dancing on Friday and then dancing on Saturday. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the team spiel, I guess, is this whole week of practice. These could be our last practices of the season if we aren't ready and we aren't prepared, but I think everybody is realizing that it's go time and everyone is locked in the same and everyone has the same ideas in their head of where we want to be, and we want to be in Salem next weekend, and we're going to work to get there. But it's still one game at a time. We're definitely going to be prepared for Friday. And then the quick turnaround for Saturday, we're going to be prepared for that. So we have full confidence in our teammates and our coaching staff that we'll get the job done and we'll be in Salem next week.
You got a lot of emotion this time of year, knocking off, especially in the game against Trine, knocking them off, a huge landmark win for this program. How do you manage those emotions, shed them, keep them, to ensure that you're in the best spot possible heading into Friday?
Yeah, obviously we were at a really high on Saturday, and I feel like that we've already come to back where we were after the game, or last Monday when we got told, the CCIW, that we were kind of at back to where we're normal. Like, we just got to be at our normal energy level and our normal ego level, and I never think that we get too ahead of ourselves and too high. We're always at a good standard, but in the games, emotions do get high. I think we are probably one of the most celebratory teams. We celebrate so much, and we're always bringing energy. But I think that we're back to where we need to be. So.
Yeah, I think we're definitely back kind of at square one. I would say, with the reset of our week. We had an off day yesterday. Got some shots up today, so we're definitely in our normal routine of things. And like Mal was saying, we do celebrate a lot during the games, and especially when our bench goes in, I think that's when the emotions are the most high, because we do love to celebrate them just like they do celebrate us. So we definitely celebrate in the moment, and obviously Saturday was a big win for us, so we celebrated extra hard on the court. But this week is going to be a good reset for us, and we know that we need more energy, right? So we need better energy for Friday, even more energy for Saturday. So these games are going to be essential for us. So grounding as much as possible during the week and kind of saving that up for the games is going to be important.
Energy, emotion, we'll have you hold on to those thoughts, because you're back here hosting for the second weekend against Oshkosh and then Ohio Wesleyan and Baldwin-Wallace in the neutral site game. First off, talk about the atmosphere from last weekend. Given that it's spring break, students could have gone home, they could have done what they want, but the Shirk was rocking last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so thankful that Bloomington came out and supported us, and there's a lot of community there that I haven't seen before, and just even like the middle school teams, they always come and watch us. The little campers are always at our camps, and it's great to see everybody come out and still support us over spring break. And I think a few soccer girls and a few other sports teams were there, but I'm so excited to see what Shirk's like this weekend too.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely rocking. Obviously, we have a lot of our families come support us. Whole town of Amboy was there, I think. But it really means a lot when the community all around us, even ISU came off of a win on Saturday, and the coaches were there and their kids were there. So it's a really fun environment to be in, and that's what makes Shirk what it is. And if there was anything that a recruit was watching this and they were like, why would I pick Illinois Wesleyan? I strictly alone, boom, fan base. Shirk on a Saturday is electric, and it's like no other.
Matt Sosler alongside senior Mallory Powers and junior Sawyer White. You talk about the Shirk being picture perfect on a weekend. I asked Coach Smith this. I asked Ava and KP last week. I'm going to ask you two this week. It's spring break. People might be on vacation. The Titan Athletics Nation is spread across the United States with softball in California, baseball down in Florida, lacrosse in Colorado and Maryland. You get to play at home this weekend. I'm going to give both of you the floor to pitch fans to come down, students to come back early, people getting to Bloomington to support the Titans in an effort to try and get to Virginia.
Yeah, I would say you don't want to miss this weekend. It's for sure going to be a good one, and I think that we need you guys to be supporting us in any way, and I know some people may have to support from afar, obviously the other sports teams, but if you want to come watch some good basketball, you should come to Shirk this weekend. So.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback off of what Mal said, that this is the weekend where next week, if we win, we're going to be away, and we're not – Mal's never going to be playing in the Shirk Center again after this weekend. And there's a lot on the line this weekend, but also it's going to be so much fun. And there are people, obviously, that baseball's going to be in Florida, softball's in California. Both lacrosse teams are gone, so those people obviously can't make it, but we know that they're supporting from afar. But anybody that's around Bloomington or in town, we'd really, really appreciate the extra support for sure.
If I told you that an NCAA tournament Sweet 16 game was in your backyard, it's something that doesn't happen very often. There are only 4 teams on each side, the men's and the women, that get to host this time of year. It hasn't happened for Titan basketball since 2012, that the men and the women are in the second weekend. This is rare, and it's happening right here at the Shirk Center. Get on a plane, get on a train, get in your car, do whatever you need to do to get to the Shirk on Friday night to support the Titan women's basketball team as they take on Oshkosh in the Sweet 16. Mallory Powers and Sawyer White on this edition of Titan Table Talk. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Head coach Maya Smith wraps us up when we come back on IWSports.com and Titan Table Talk.
I can see it now. The smell of the grass on the quad. That sense of excitement in the air each fall. It feels like yesterday. While I'm no longer 18, I know there are students out there ready for an opportunity like I had. For the space to discover passions, bond over dreams, and make lifelong friends. Breakthrough at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Titan Table Talk Basketball Edition rolls on. The men are headed up to Wisconsin lacrosse. The women, yet again, are staying right here in Bloomington. Matt Sosler alongside head coach Maya Smith. Coach, coming off of an exciting weekend here at the Shirk, a great crowd, and you start off with a dominant win over Center. How important was it to get your feet wet in that game?
Oh, absolutely critical. We knew the Center was a pretty good team. We thought we were very well prepped for that ball game. Having a couple extra days during the week to prep for them. Really a well-coached team. We really liked their team on paper and on film. So to play the way we did was really exciting for us. And really, I think that type of game is what spearheaded the next game.
Leading 27-6 at the end of one, being able to play your entire rotation, your entire team in that contest, and also having the bottom end of the bench play the entire fourth quarter, give the rotation some rest. How important was that, knowing that we're in the land of back-to-backs?
It was very critical. And the fact that, Trine had to play an overtime game against Transylvania, we were really grateful about that. We knew that in the second game that fatigue would definitely be a factor. So getting it, probably, though, for me, the best part of that game was watching the main core, the main 8, celebrate the rest of the team, our scout team, who was so good. And we talked at length when we were prepping about how this time of year, everybody has a role, but each role is just as important as the best player on the team's role. And our scout team was just, they were so good in character getting us prepared.
You're into the second weekend for the first time since 2012. Last year, down 14 with 5 minutes left up at Wartburg. Ava Bardick hits a 3 to potentially tie off the side of the rim to end that game in regulation. We've heard you talk about it over the course of the season. The players talk about it over the past few months. How important was that as a motivator heading into this weekend and getting it done heading to the Sweet 16?
I think the Wartburg loss, for anybody that was on that team or a part of that team, can be a motivator for your entire career at Wesleyan. We knew we had not played well, especially in that second quarter. We kind of were more true to ourselves in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and we just had that one momentary lapse where things got out of hand for us. And I think that girls have really learned that you have to be locked in until the final buzzer has sounded. And so it's definitely been a motivator, and we're grateful for it.
One player who's done that over the course of her career, Mallory Powers, hitting the 1,000-point mark on her first. Of course, it had to be a wing 3 in the first quarter to get her 1,000th point. 4 active Comma Club members. What does that mean to you in this program?
First of all, I'm just so happy for Mal and her entire family, and for her teammates to be able to celebrate her like that is, gosh, it is a joyful year. And to have the 4 players do it, that's almost unheard of. But it really speaks volumes to what they've done in their 4 years here. And Ava's just in her second year actually. So it's just been a really amazing and joyful time. And Mallory Powers worked so hard. Her and her dad, I can't imagine the amount of shots that they put up together.
And it certainly has paid off for the Amboy native. You're going to the second weekend. We just spoke with Karlo Colak, Nathan Boldt, and Ron Rose. They're in the second weekend, too. It's an exciting time. I mentioned to Coach Rose, when it's 70 degrees outside, you can walk from Shirk to Ames without wearing a jacket and without being cold, and you're still in season. You've done something special.
That's true. And, the fact that 2012 was a great year for both Ron and I, and the girls and I are thrilled, absolutely thrilled for our men's program. There's such a great group of young men, and Coach Rose, being their leader, has just, any high school basketball male player would be very blessed to play for Coach Rose. He's an exceptional man of faith and treats his guys just perfectly. And so we're excited for them. We were watching the end of their game a couple times on the big screen and celebrating with them at the conference tournament when they got their win. So, and I think Ava Bardick kind of said it best. Illinois Wesleyan is a basketball school, and we love that.
A basketball school indeed that had a great win over Trine on Saturday. They go on an 11-0 run to end the first quarter. They lead by 3. What was your message heading into the second, and where it just seemed that everything just flipped?
Yeah, a little bit of adjustment on the run and jump. I didn't feel like we were being aggressive enough. We weren't rotating from the back quick enough. Once we got the ball under control a little bit more in the backcourt, that was helping us out quite a bit. And then hitting shots always definitely helps. Today we watched a highlight film of that game, and again, the word that we just continue to use is joyful. Everybody's celebrating everybody, and when your defense can make your offense click like that, it just is an exciting thing to watch.
Up by 9 at the half, the first 2 or 3 minutes of that third quarter is a very critical juncture, a chance for trying to claw back or a chance for you guys to pull away. It was certainly the latter and then some in the first few minutes, hitting 6 of 7 from 3 and just breaking that open.
I didn't realize it was 6 of 7 from 3. I knew we weren't missing very much, so that's great. But yeah, just the inside-outside game has been working well for us. And probably the best thing for this team is their ability for everybody to score. It doesn't matter what 5 is on the floor. Very hard to defend. You cannot pick and choose. You have to try to guard us all. And again, just a testament to the girls that how they've worked hard all year long to get it to this point.
Beating a top 15 team by around 30 points, you have a lot of momentum heading into this weekend. How do you plan on riding that?
That's a great question, and I've given that a lot of thought, Matt, because we are so excited. I mean, we had lunch with the team today. They just put some shots up before we went to lunch. Probably tomorrow in practice, I think I'm going to kind of let them continue to be really, really happy because they're happy right now. And the beautiful weather certainly is helping that too. But come tomorrow, we'll try to get them locked back in. They did an excellent job of getting ready for the 2 games that we needed to get ready for. They didn't look past center. They knew they had to take that game, and then they were well prepared for trying. And again, it's just who they are. They want to be prepared. They want to know the ins and outs. And my staff, Coach Brian and Coach Kate, just doing an incredible job of getting us ready.
Speaking of getting ready, we talk about the large amount of NCAA tournament experience on this team from last year, from a few years ago up at Whitewater. Heading into the second weekend, it's just the coaches that have second weekend experience. What's your thought on that and teaching your team about maybe some of the differences or, on the contrary, the similarities between the first weekend and the second?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of similarities. And again, you've mentioned the year 2012 when it was so great for both the men and the women. The similarities between this team that I'm coaching now and that team are huge. And even the things that are little and maybe not so well noticed on the basketball court, things that are off the court that are similar, it's almost freaking me out, Matt. Last night I had a surprise visit from the majority of my teams at my house, and the 2012 did the same thing. They put spoons in my yard one night and toilet papered my house, and I wasn't quite prepared for it. Thought my house was getting broken into during that time. So, I mean, it's just the things that are happening that are so similar are really comforting and exciting, and I hope that we can just continue to play at the level we're playing at, because if we can do that, we can go into this weekend playing at the same level we played at the past weekend, we're going to do all right.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan women's basketball coach Maya Smith. You have Wisconsin-Oshkosh on Friday, a team that you haven't seen since 2002, almost your whole roster, maybe even your whole roster by a couple days. Wasn't even born yet the last time that you faced off against another Titan squad from the Dairy State. What are your thoughts on them?
Yep, so we've had a little bit of an opportunity to look at them on film, and I would say they're a little bit like us. There's actually a lot of similarities. I think the biggest difference is going to be on the defensive end of things, and then also maybe in the pace. I think they're going to want a little bit slower pace. We're going to want a much quicker pace.
Your depth has been a critical piece over the last few weeks, playing back-to-backs, being able to get the entire roster in. Tell me about that, and also the fact that we saw it against Trine. You got to tip their hat to them. They did a great job guarding Lauren Huber.
Yep.
Everybody else was able to have a field day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And our girls know that if they're throwing 2 and 3 people at Lauren, or they're crowding her in the lane, they know they have to get open. They know they have to cut to the rim. They have to have vision, make great passes. And that's something I thought they did an exceptional job against Trine. And, that's all them. That's just all them playing free basketball. And, again, I'm so proud of them, and I'm actually just extremely happy for them.
I'm going to put you on the spot for this last question. It's spring break. The weather's beautiful. Titan Nation is all spread across the country with softball in California, baseball in Florida, lacrosse in Maryland, you name it. Last weekend was a fantastic crowd at the Shirk, and I'm going to give you the chance to pitch for people to get back to the 309 for Friday night to support the Titans in the second weekend.
I'll do that. A few years back, the Panagraph wrote an article on our team about how Illinois Wesleyan women's basketball was the best bang for your buck in terms of entertainment. I'm going to throw that out there again. I think they're a fun team to watch. You cannot imagine how many emails, in-person conversations I've had already since the game on Saturday about how this team plays happy, how they play so hard and they don't get outworked. And like I said again, I think they're well worth the money. Come on out, support us. We love the fact that Bloomington Normal is a basketball community, and we will play hard for them. There's no doubt about that.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan women's basketball head coach Maya Smith. Coach, thanks so much, and good luck on Friday.
Appreciate you, Matt, as always.
Titans open up their second weekend against Wisconsin-Oshkosh following the neutral site game between Ohio Wesleyan and Baldwin-Wallace, and then a battle between the Titans, Wisconsin-Oshkosh and Illinois Wesleyan, at 7:30 here at the Shirk Center in Bloomington. Coach, thanks so much again.
Thanks, Matt.